Hello, my friends, and welcome back to Multithon, where we are faster together, where we are better together, and where together we are helping to change lives by raising money for Blue Path service dogs. My name is Zenadir, but you can call me Zen, and I am honored to be your host for this upcoming Portal 2, Signs of the Sojourner, and Spiritfarer runs, and I'm still a little... I'm blushing a little bit here from the shout out from Happy at the end and some stuff going on in the lovely Multithon Discord. There's so many good vibes in this community, and I'm very happy to be a part of it. Wow. Overall, there's so much that I am just personally excited with. Runs and just marathon overall. Like, I'm hosting for my amazing friend Pippi. I'm being able to trade off the host mic with the one and only Charbunny twice this event. We all get to watch the Thempress themselves, Ruby Heart and friends run Overcooked 2 on day 3. I get to host for Subspace Emissary on the final day, and I get to listen as Zokubun themselves carries the host mic for the final run of the event. There's seriously so much going on, and I'd love for you all to tell me in chat what you're excited about across these 4 days of co-oping for charity. Whew, with that, as mentioned, Multithon is here to raise money for Blue Path service dogs. Blue Path provides autism service dogs offering safety, companionship, and opportunities for independence. Blue Path's expertly trained autism service dogs are provided free of charge. They improve safety and provide families with the freedom to unlock life's potential. In Blue Path's Pause to Learn program, dogs spend time providing therapeutic support in schools, camps, residential homes, and day habilitation settings. Future service dogs and program participants learn together, with the dogs obtaining important training experience and individuals receiving invaluable benefits. Pause to Learn impacts over 2,000 individuals annually. Blue Path is committed to the success of each of their placements. They remain closely connected to all families, answering the normal questions that arise when learning to navigate life with a service dog. Each Blue Path dog comes with thousands of hours of training from dedicated volunteers and professional staff. The cost to prepare these dogs is upwards of $40,000. Yet thanks to the ongoing generosity of supporters, both service dogs and ongoing follow-up support are provided free of charge. For more information on Blue Path service dogs and to see all important dog pictures, please visit bluepathservicedogs.org. And I've been informed, Portal community, this one's for you. We have a new poll going on with donations here, new bid war. Are reportals a glitch? You can vote yes, which is Fridge's answer, or a no, which is Jaio's answer. So be sure to get your opinion heard, donate for a great cause, and really tell us, reportals, are they a glitch or not? I need to know. Now, the show must go on. Here is Fridge and Jaio racing Portal 2 inbounds, no SLA. Let's get to the tests.
Stupid. That's not me talking. It's right here in your file. On other people, it looks fine.
I'm gonna assume that
Right
we're on.
here, a scientist has
Hello,
noted
hello.
that
My name
on
is
you it
Jaio.
looks
Hello, I am Bridge.
stupid. Well,
This is Portal 2. This game, my opinion, doesn't need an introduction.
And
It's Portal 2.
skeleton
Everyone's played
impose
it.
you in the lobby.
yeah,
That way, future generations
top
can
10
learn
game
from you
Steam
how
all
not
time.
to have your
Yeah, it's one of them.
good news. I figured out what to
so,
do with
a
all
few
the
things to
money
note about
I
the run
saved
before we
recycling
start.
your one room full of air.
Where are
When
you?
you die, I'm going to
Oh,
laminate
you're
your
first, yeah.
skeleton
So
and
we
put
are
it in the
running
lobby.
with
That
a
way future
plugin
generations
called
can
Source
learn
Auto
from
Record.
you how not
It's
to have your
supposed to just be a
unfortunate
plugin to
bone
help with
structure.
speedrun stuff and proof recording, but it does a lot more than that. And what we're using it for tonight is to add ghost online multiplayer to the game, basically. So if I head to the map that Fridge is on, you'll be able to see.
Look, it's Jaio.
You can see we can see each other here. We can't interact with one another. We can't harm each other or anything. It's just a little visual little character that there is. So if you've ever played like a racing game or something, and you know the ghosts that are on the track, pretty much the same thing. Also makes things easier for us to start runs at the same time and whatnot. All right. With
Perfect.
that,
The
the game
malfunctioning.
starts with like 5.5 minutes of
Somebody's going
cutscene,
to
so
have to repair that
not
too.
really much to do.
No, don't get
Fridge, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready to go.
back.
Alright,
Don't
start the
touch
countdown.
anything.
The timer is going to start in it's gonna start once we gain control of our characters, which isn't going to be when the level is. It's going to be about 5 seconds afterwards. And not quick start countdown. I got kicked out of the website.
Oh no.
Woo! The server's still up, don't worry.
Okay.
Alright, let's save. Start countdown.
Here she comes. Just keep testing. Remember, you never saw.
Alright, so I'm gonna count down here for timer to start.
Good morning.
Time's going to start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All testing
Go.
candidates in the Aperture Science Extended Relaxation Center must be revised periodically for a mandatory physical and mental wellness exercise.
So,
So this is
You will
Portal
hear
2.
a buzzer.
yeah.
Hear the buzzer.
So what we're going to do here is we're going to be doing a bunch of inputs that are pretty easily to do. We're going to call tick perfectly. As a quick explanation to what ticks are. Ticks are basically this game's frames. The game operates on 60 ticks a second, and that's how, normally frames would work. However, it's just a different terminology. But we're just going to do a bunch of different things that are pretty easy to get tick perfectly. But we just got to do it at the start of the run. And yeah, and in this time we're going to kind of explain the movement after we kind of get into the second act of this map, which will be after we fall asleep and then subsequently wake up. And we are going to be in a more broken version of the bedroom, and by holding A and S, like you'll see on my screen in the bottom left, it'll get us to this door to start this cutscene perfectly. And then now we have about a minute, in which I'm going to explain quickly some of the movement in this game. So one thing to note about this game is that if you hold W, you'll be at 175 velocity, as you can see on my screen. However, if you hold A and move your mouse to the left, you'll notice that my velocity goes above that 175, and if I do this on the ground, you'll see that I am going faster on the ground than I would just holding W. And this also translates to the air. As you'll see, a circle jump, we'll be doing those a bunch where we'll kind of hold W, A, and then jump after getting that speed on the ground to then get that speed in the air, and then we'll be doing that strafing with the A and D keys in the air to gain more speed. And then me and Jaio got to do a quick input, so just want to make sure that we get it. We just have to jump under Wheatley.
Although if you do feel alarm, try to hold on to that feeling, because that is the proper reaction to being.
Not gonna lie, thank you for saying that. I would have forgotten. Legit. Thank you.
Just say yes. Okay, what you're doing there is jumping. You just jumped, but never mind. Say apple. Apple.
A quick little fun fact, those 2 jumps there, one of those jumps isn't technically required. If you're curious as to how many jumps it takes to complete Portal 2, the answer is 2. Asterisk. The first one is in this map. It's one of those apples. I believe it's the second one. The first one, Wheatley kind of lets you skip. The second one, he actually makes you jump. And then one is later in the game where we need to get from a lower platform to a slightly higher platform.
Yeah. And one thing that you may notice, that earlier we said that we were going to be able to see each other in while playing the game. Technically speaking, our camera is separated from our actual hitbox, so that's why you don't see Jaio, and then Jaio doesn't see me on his screen, because we are actually way over that in just a box with a similar structure.
I'm not sure exactly where it is, but if I turn on full bright, this full bright mode here, which is allowed, trust me, there might be a chance where I'm able to see that box where my player hitbox actually is.
Yeah.
I'm not too sure where it is, so I could just be incorrect, but...
I think on my screen you can kind of see it. Where I was looking at for a bit through that hole, you could see it very, very briefly. However, it's not that significant. It's just a bunch of blank textures. Like in the box that our actual hitbox is in, this is just like a raised block. Same for these. Yeah.
Another weird side effect of that is that you can't crouch during this bit because dealing with the camera position changing, with your hitbox changing, it's too much trouble. So Valve just said no and disabled crouching.
I'm going to attempt a manual override on this wall. Could get a bit technical. Hold on.
Alright, we're pretty much coming on to the first bit of... I lied, we're heading to the second bit of waiting. And then we'll get to the first bit of gameplay here. You'll notice starting a little bit in this map, we're going to be doing some weird tricks when it gets to the end of most of the maps. We're going to be waiting in the elevator, or waiting outside of the elevator, even though it's open for a little bit, and even though it may seem slower. I'm going to be using every speedrunner's favorite speedrun analogy here. If you imagine a bus stop, buses can only come at a certain time. We need to wait for that bus to come by waiting outside of the elevator to get the fastest wait time here. Basically how it works is the game checks for dialogue. Every now and then it checks if the dialogue is completed. If it's not, then the map doesn't transition out. If it does, then it transitions. Hang on a second. Alright, you're not going to be seeing it much in this map, but in the next map you're going to be really seeing it. We're going to be waiting outside of the elevator for like 10 seconds, a little bit more.
If you feel liquid running down your neck, relax, lie on your back, and apply immediate pressure to your temples. You are simply experiencing a rare reaction in which the material emancipation grill may have emancipated the ear tubes inside your head. Good. Because of the technical difficulties we are currently...
So now we're just going
I'll let
to
you go
chill
ahead.
out here for a little bit.
Before re-entering a relaxation vault at the conclusion of testing, please take a moment to write down the results of your test. An Aperture Science Reintegration Associate will revive you for an interview when society has...
So we enter the elevator at a specific time, and you see right there, it was a very short time between when the narrator stopped talking and when the level faded. If we go in at a completely random time, then we might get a fade like that, or we might get a fade that loses us like 2 seconds where we just sat there in silence. So we have a lineup for pretty much most maps. Some of them, it's just going immediately, if there isn't any ending dialogue.
Also, are you alive? That's important. Should have asked that first. Do you know what?
I almost got the fast dialogue skip.
Assumption that you're still alive, and I'm just going to wait for you up ahead.
Nice. So what happened there is there's a bit of a dialogue skip. So both the narrator and Wheatley are talking. If you walk into that 03 area there from Portal 1, another thing, Chapter 1 in Portal 2 is just like rehashed Portal 1 chambers. So if you walk into that next area at a specific time, then Wheatley can interrupt the narrator, and it could save a bit of time.
Smooth jazz will be deployed in 3, 2.
I got unlucky.
Yeah, I'm getting super unlucky.
So there's a trick that you're going to see here is that I very quickly just threw the cube through the door. Basically what happens there is the portal is not just a cutout in the wall in 2 positions. It has an entire bubble around it that will act with that same portal physics. And what that does is it will make some cubes lose their collision so that they can go through objects. That's the only time that... actually, that's not true. It's one of 2 times in the game that we're going to use that portal bubble abuse to get something through a door, but then it just lets us hit the soft lock trigger, which is quicker than doing the puzzle.
Didn't want to stop you, but I nailed the smooth jazz pre-hop.
Let's go.
Nailed it.
And then a trick that you're going to notice that we do real quick is called a Pika portal. We did it in the last map where you come up to the portal and then you kind of, you peek a portal to the other side. I don't exactly know why we call it a Pika portal, but...
we don't call it a portal stand.
You are right. I'm using the wrong terminology.
It's called a portal stand because you stand in a portal. Pretty much, this map especially, it's really easy because... Hang on, listening up for dialogue here. Because the orange portal on the wall is slightly slanted, so we can sort of stand on the edge of it while shooting our blue portal wherever. We'll be seeing it a little bit later in the run. We'll probably be seeing more. I can't think of it off the top of my head.
And then something new that I'm going to be doing here that Jaio does not do in his runs is something that we call VSnap. VSnap is basically abusing a thing in games called pixel skips, where your mouse will jump across the screen into kind of specific coordinates on your screen. And how you achieve that with that, to make the pixels jump further, is that you want to turn your sensitivity up very, very high in game. And with that, we can then take the fact that your mouse can only hit so many points on kind of this imaginary grid, that I can just make the super precise shots a lot less precise. It's something that's more new in the Portal 2 community, so if you have watched Portal 2 at a marathon before, there is a chance that you have not seen VSnap being used before, in which that would be your first instance of it, and then there's going to be an even bigger instance of it that pretty much every runner uses in full game, way later in the game.
Look for a switch that says escape pod. All right, don't touch anything else.
So what we're going to do here may look like a cutscene, but there is a pretty major way to skip this cutscene. This map's like 3 minutes long, but we can save 5 seconds from it. But not only that, what we're going to do to save 5 seconds here saves like another 30 seconds elsewhere in the game. We're going to be doing a trick called Bet, or at least we're going to be trying to do a trick called Bets Rider. Where using this moving platform, we're going to be able to get a massive boost outside of an invisible wall up there, which allows us to get into GLaDOS' area when we're usually not supposed to. Hang on, let me try it here. Okay, I didn't get it. I'm just gonna explain it. I think Fridge is reloading for it. But we could get into this area out here. Yep, there it goes. So Fridge just hopped over the invisible wall. He's going to grab a clipboard prop from somewhere in this map and place it on the incinerator. He's going to then stand on the clipboard prop, and when the camera control gets taken away from us, which will happen in a minute or so, the game will give us invincibility, just to ensure that we don't die in the cutscene. When that incinerator door opens, we will fall down with the clipboard, and the game won't have a chance to take away our invincibility before the level transitions, meaning that he'll be invincible for the rest of the game, unless he restarts the level, which hopefully he doesn't.
Let's see, hopefully this works. Sometimes the clipboard can move a lot under the player's feet, which then could make the trick not work. The clipboard that I got there, it should work, just because I could tell that the clipboard was still underneath the player because of that little bit of movement. And in the event that the clipboard just is not having a good day, then we'll just have to go without showing the Bets Rider tricks. However, this should work. Oh, it did not work. That's unfortunate.
Bozo.
However, I will explain kind of as we get there some of the stuff that we could normally do if we have that trick.
12:21. I ended at. Oh, we're tied right now.
Oh, really?
Yep. 12:21.
That's awesome.
The reason why we need to use the clipboard, by the way, and we just can't stand on the incinerator, is because if we stand on the incinerator by ourselves, then when the when the doors open for it, it'll just push us out of the way, which we obviously don't want. Standing on the clipboard prevents that, so we're just able to fall right through.
Find it, we can start testing, just like old times. Good. You have a dual portal device. There should be there. Once testing.
So I'm not sure if you noticed, but that past map, both of us did it relatively quickly, but this map was a remake of 19 from Portal.
With me. And now I'm on to all your little tricks.
We're gonna be seeing this next map is another remake. It's 06.
After that,
I believe so. I think it's 04.
reanimating the dead, maybe.
I think it's 04.
It is. Uh-oh.
What?
Uh-oh.
Your game crash?
No, I didn't get it.
About the mess. I've really let the place go since you
I didn't get it, and I had a bad
I
save.
forgot how good you are at
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Pace yourself, though. We have a lot of
There we go.
tests to do.
I'm pretty sure it's 06. His 04 is Smooth Jazz.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right.
That's 04, 05.
Discouragement redirection cubes. I just finished building them before you had your, well, episode.
Anyway, these next few maps here are introducing lasers as gameplay mechanics. We are not going to be using them
A horrible person.
Yeah.
up until the next map, which is called Dual Lasers, where we're only going to be using one laser.
Yeah, and we'll be using a trick called Laser Switch Glitch, which basically how Laser Switch Glitch works is that there is a very small time frame, even when a laser relay gets deactivated, that it will still remain active even though there's not a laser in it. That period is 4 ticks. And in that 4 ticks, if we switch the laser to hit another receptor, then both of them will be active at the same time, which then causes a small little kind of quirk in the gameplay, where if the player is against the door and all the end level conditions are met, the door will open and will remain open so that it doesn't crush the player. So then with Laser Switch Glitch, we can get through that door without having to solve the puzzle.
You don't have to go that slowly.
And then I heard a gasp from Jaio.
You know how in one of my PBs I lost 25 seconds in dual lasers?
Did it happen again?
It happened again.
Fair enough. The laser's is funky like that. It's one of those maps where if something doesn't go right, there's not really a great backup,
This next test involves the aperture
which
size
then,
area
in Jaio's case, can lose a good amount of time.
initiative to investigate how well
By the way, what you just saw me do was called a super reportal. Basically, I am able to get stuck in the wall and then use reportals to gain speed. What a reportal is if you're standing inside of a portal and you shoot a portal, then you gain 200 speed. I could chain 3 of those together while stuck in a wall. I will get released and then have all that speed built up to where I could go flinging.
Yeah. And
So
for
now
the
with that
record-
explanation out of the way,
advanced aerial
the base reportal, just where you're standing in a portal,
soaring through the air without a care in the I have to
just
go
where you're
through
standing in a
layers
portal
of
and shoot one
area
and
of
shoot
glass
another one
for
to get a little bit of
15
speed.
broken glass.
Is that a glitch? Answer now by donating. And
Yeah.
click on the donation poll.
Oh, sorry. I'm still cleaning out.
And for background as well with the reportal, a reportal is considered to be something that is intended by the game developer, but we use it in a way that I personally consider to be a glitch. But for the record, a reportal is completely intended. It's just meant to push the player out of the wall instead of making them stay stuck in the wall when you place the portal you're standing in.
Which would have made this apology seem insane.
I'll be seeing another super reportal from Bridge soon. Up in this next map. You'll be seeing him do a super reportal off of the ground to get a bunch of speed in the air and a bunch of height to skip a chamber.
I don't know why that went on. Anyway, just an interesting science fact.
See if I can hit this reportal. I did. So what you saw me do there is normally you're supposed to get 5 reportals off that wall while you're stuck to get all the way up. However, I mispressed one of my binds, so I had a harder time shooting those portals. But what's cool as a backup is you can place a portal where on that slanted surface, and then as you're falling, you can do a normal reportal to get that extra 200 speed to get to the end.
This next test involves emancipation.
And I actually managed to make it.
I told you about them in the last test area that did not have one.
And then, fun fact about the map that I just completed, Fizzler Intro. It recently just became the newest map to have the possibility of being completed in 0 portals. Which is kind of a subsector of the speedrunning community. But shout out Nidboy, who solved probably a mystery that's been trying to been solved by many insanely smart people at Portal 2 for, I mean, years and years. Some of the first videos theorizing a 0 portal route from probably 2014, I believe. And then a trick that I'm failing to do, but I finally just did, is called double dialogue skip. Basically, normally you're supposed to hit this catapult 3 times, so that this ceiling comes down. However, both of the dialogues that are there have triggers at varying heights. And by crouching and uncrouching to hit both of those triggers twice in midair, we can actually just skip the dialogue altogether. Which then lets us complete the chamber a lot quicker. Because even with all of the reloads that I had to do to complete the trick, I probably would still be completing it faster than intended. And okay, there we go. But very, very cool trick, and saves tons of time. Now, there's a different route that was covered by somebody in the community named Msuchi in their video. But that is a skip that is IL only, and involves simply using some rubble in the chamber to skip needing to hit the catapult, except only one time and not even having to hit it a second time.
I didn't see the deer today. I did see some humans.
There is.
Oh, nice. I activated the dialogue there, but didn't activate the button.
Ooh. At least she activated the dialogue.
That's true.
But that is a strat that one person does in full game, and even then they're more of a they're more known for their
Minecraft
IL.
speedrunner anyway.
Sure. They're more known for their IL accomplishments rather than their full game accomplishments.
It would also set your hair on fire, so don't actually do it.
So here's the next map where we're going to be seeing that cube through that cube nonsense that we saw on the map Smooth Jazz.
You're a predator, and these tests
By using the exact same trick, we could push the cube through the glass.
sharks for an upcoming test.
I managed to activate the dialogue, but didn't activate the button, which is annoying because I was too slow to put it on the button to get the correct dialogue fit, so I'm going to be having to wait here for a little bit.
Good news.
And then this is going to be probably one of the more well-known skips of the game, as this skip has been in the speedrun rotation for players since probably year 1, and it's called Promptly Door Skip, in which we're skipping a door that we normally have to wait for a cutscene to get past. Oh, that is definitely a weird save there.
Ooh, not gonna lie, not feeling too good about this Bridge the Gap.
There am I. Bridge the Gap is one of those maps that is definitely considered one of the harder maps. Just because the route that I'm doing is kind of one of those routes that back in the day that the game was getting... Back when the game was first starting to get run in this full game setting, there were many of the top players said, you know, Bridge the Gap is an IL only strat, nobody's gonna do it in full game, you would be crazy if you did. But now, pretty much every runner in the top 50 does that strat. Saves 6 seconds over the normal strat. Really just kind of a product of the times. I gotta remember that I am not invincible.
Yeah, you are not invincible because you missed it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I gotta remember I'm playing full game. Do the right lineup. Please God, do the right lineup. I think I got it.
And so kind of give some backstory as to what he's saying here. The portal placements that I just did for the laser that we're going to be seeing here, they are different in the IL because in ILs you don't have to worry about activating the dialogue. So you can just go straight to the door rather than having to pick up the cube and drop it, which starts the end dialogue.
Well, technically, it's a medical
Alright, this next map is the last map of Chapter 3. Nothing special about it, except for one small thing. They, in this game... Oh shit, this is not the map I thought it was. Sorry, by the way.
On other people, it looks fine.
Not gonna lie, I thought this was a different map.
Scientist has noted that on you
This map has a cool trick called turret boosts, which normally you're unable to do with Bets Rider. Due to how Bets Riders work, there we go. How Bets Rider works is not only does it make you invincible, but it makes it so that turrets can't knock you back. And you know, since the route that I just did requires the turret to knock you back, that's a route that would not normally be showcased. There's also a route here that isn't being showcased, where in the route where you have Bets Rider, you would just hop past the turrets. Here, I have to kill the turrets first so that I can survive going through here. And yeah.
Alright. So now this next map... Hang on. So now this next map is the map that I was actually referring to. The last map of Chapter 3. Not really a special map gameplay-wise, but... in terms of little hidden trivia, in this game there are what are called Ratman dens. They're little bits of lore strewn out about the game. Pretty much teach you about this scientist named Ratman who went crazy with schizophrenia. In this map specifically, there are a couple mugs. Specifically, there are 67 mugs, like coffee mugs. There's 67, 4 of which say who farted.
2, 1.
Yeah, shout out our big man Bumpy, who
Shout out Resident Man. Yeah, he counted them.
Yeah, he did indeed count all of the mugs.
If it makes you feel any better, they abandoned you at birth.
So this map is one of the biggest time saves if you have the Bets Rider glitch, mostly because you can do a completely different route here compared to what me and Fridge are going to be doing right now. The route that you can do with Bets Rider involves you clipping into the observatory room and using using a glitch that's called find closest passable. Well, not a glitch. It's a game method called find closest passable space. Basically, if you're stuck, the game will try to unstuck you. The reason why we don't do it without it is that the game gives you 10 million damage, which obviously if we're not invincible, we die. Danescape, by the way.
Yeah, and then it comes into a trick that we affectionately know as Danescape if you hit it first try. Otherwise, it's known as Jerry Skip. And basically what you do is that you want to make the game kind of freak out using a similar thing to FCPS, which is what was mentioned in Chorus Skip. However, it effectively just, if you make the game freak out enough, it'll, you know, shoot you through the floor instead of killing you. Which then lets it hit a player trigger and ends the level early. And one thing to note about that as well is that that trick cannot be done on every elevator, because that is the only elevator in the game that is ended by a player trigger. All other elevators are ended by the elevator triggers, which is also why we have to wait at certain dialogues.
To add, there's a cutscene at the end of the map, which is why the map is decided on by a player hitting the trigger instead of the elevator. Technically, you can do the mechanic on all of these kinds of elevators. It's not useful. You can try it if you want. Doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
I've got a surprise for you after this next test.
So this map is the most normal map in the game. Absolutely nothing going on here.
With tragic consequences.
Except for a little old Wheelie here, who's going to help us escape from Upture facilities.
I'm speaking in an accent that is beyond her range of hearing. I know I'm early.
And then what you just saw there is me and Jaio did 2 separate routes. The route he did is
the fast route.
Basically what I was doing with hitting the road is the moment you hit that button, you can still reach the wall that I reached to then portal yourself over to the location, where Wheatley would meet you to escape. But then you can go into the little alcove he's in, and then jump the gap instead of using the bridge that he would normally get for you. And by doing that, it saves about, I think it's like 4 or 5 seconds if you do it right.
That sounds about right.
But it is one of those glitches that can get very technically difficult when you're first starting out. And even experienced players like Jaio can have issues with it from time to time.
It's a trick that's like you could do a million times in IL, but once you do it once in full game, it's like it doesn't work.
Yeah.
So this next map, both me and Fridge are going to be enabling full bright, which is a command in game. It basically turns up all the ambient lights on your camera to max brightness, so we can see, because we're going to be doing a trick here called flashlight skip. It's called that because at the start of this map, Wheatley turns on a flashlight so that we can see in the dark. We skip it, so it's dark. This command, this full bright command, is allowed because some people have different monitors. So some people, like my monitor for instance, can display all the dark colors. So I'm able to see the map if I play in the dark. However, others' monitors may not be able to. So as a bit of a way of balancing the game, that's allowed. It also makes it really nice for video encoding because, if anyone knows, trying to encode anything dark sucks. So you're welcome.
I'll tell you, humans, love them. Just the way they look, it's great, and they're right.
Otherwise, this whole segment here, this next like 5 or 6 maps, is entirely movement. There are portal shots and whatnot, but this is the most movement-heavy portion of the game.
And then one thing that I'm going to mention coming up here is there was a trick that we did earlier in the run that we never mentioned, that you'll be able to see way more fully on display here, which is something called Pancake Shot. Pancake Shot is something where some of the doors in this game have kind of faulty
collision.
Yeah, faulty collision. And with that, there is a hole in that door texture that allows us to shoot a portal through. And with that, if we can line up our player at a very specific point, we can then fire a portal through those gaps. So very early in the game in Chapter 1, we did that to skip a bunch of the Wheatley dialogue. And here we're going to do it, and it's going to be a lot more pronounced what we're doing. Because as you'll see here, if we aim at a certain point on the wall and then aim at a certain point on the door, we can just shoot right through the door. Which then skips having us to replace the turrets and to actually sabotage the turrets, as the map name entails. And that saves about 25 to 30 seconds, I believe.
Because of how Valve games work, each map is a completely separate map. So, unless you have an existing glitch like Bet's Rider, the game does not care what you do in your previous map. So, in a couple maps we're going to be seeing the sabotage turrets, which obviously we didn't sabotage ourselves. But the game doesn't care, nor does it even know that we sabotaged, that we just didn't sabotage the turrets.
Yeah. And then we're actually going to be approaching Cutscene City here pretty quick, which is what is kind of known as kind of the low point in the run. You have a 59-second cutscene to then 57, you said?
Yep.
Yeah.
A 57-second full cutscene, followed by a 3.5-minute long map with less gameplay than The Last of Us 2. And then a 1:17 long cutscene. 110 cycle cringe.
And then this would be a good time if there is any donations that have come through. It'd be a good time to read them off.
Okay, well, as a general note, we have officially passed 7 hours of Multithon on day 1 here, and we've also just crushed through $500 to $600 raised, and counting, of course. That's fantastic. There was a huge donation that came in, but I'm going to choose to save it because it does refer to the next run, and I think it's really important to wait on there. We do have a $10 donation I got to clean up here from Nico Yazawa that said, "You're so speedrun drywall," which is for the last run, so drywall, if you're still hanging around, I hope you know that you had a lot of support coming through there. We also had a $5 donation from Almost Bones that simply says, "Cat." And with that $5, they actually pushed us over. So Stray, we are now going to be taking a cowboy cat nap thanks to their help. Which, I'm a big fan of cats and I'm a big fan of naps. So I'm thriving right now.
Somewhat ironic, isn't it? I mean, we're raising money for dogs here. We're about to play a cat game.
We love all animals
I
here.
honestly, truly didn't think you'd fall for that. In fact, I devised a much more elaborate.
Alright,
plan for
one
the
thing that
revenge
neither of us
of
mentioned,
the
I briefly mentioned it in that last gameplay map. That entire map was cycle-based, so those panels that you were seeing me and Fritz shoot out, those moving ones, they start moving from the very start of the map. So what time you get entirely depends on how quick you are getting up there and how good you are at shooting those panels.
Otherwise, I'm afraid
So I, for instance, got a cycle that ended with a time of 1 minute and 10 seconds. I don't know what Fritz got.
I got a 103.7, which is slower than the cycle is supposed to be, but that's because I cut one of the final pipe late.
Yeah, pretty much a decent cycle is a 102. What is this? 102.96, I think. That's
Yeah, that sounds
about
right.
fine in full game.
I suppose we could just sit
Yeah.
in this room and glare at
And in challenge mode, which is our individual levels, you could go all the way down to what is that, 58.7.
Yeah.
I'd take a deep breath.
In which,
Up until then, if you want to go faster than that, then you need to start implementing a skip called Implosion Skip, which removes the cycles and is fairly difficult.
I hate you so much.
and something of note with the 5876
That's funny.
is that is most likely the final cycle that can be done in Portal 2. Now, of course, as history goes on, I'm going to say that, and then we're going to be 2 years down the line, and then somebody's going to get a 52 or something with the cycles. However, the 58 is an achievement that only one person has ever gotten, which is Jaithon Script, and he is... that run is very, very good. If you ever want to go on a Portal 2 IL binge, that is one of the maps that I have to recommend watching.
Think about this.
Stalemate resolved.
Here we go! Wait, what if this hurts? What if this really hurts? Oh, I didn't think of that.
Oh, it will.
And then now we wait a little bit again. We watch GLaDOS get dismantled.
No, you're not. You are.
And also coming up is going to be, I believe, the biggest skip in the game. Jaio can
Yes.
correct me if I'm wrong. But normally this map takes about 6 minutes to complete. However, using, one of the more simple skips in the game, ironically, we can skip the entire second half of this cutscene here. So,
Too bad, eh? Giant robot, massive.
once the elevator starts coming up,
Oh, right, yeah, the escape lift.
what we can do is before they bring the walls to make the players not be able to get on it, we can jump over the walls and then get back to the back of this elevator to activate the elevator while on top of it. So then, in the short term, we get this funny thing where the game kind of tries to push us out and we jump a lot higher than we normally do. This is only while the elevator is not moving. But then, once the elevator starts moving and we get towards the top of the invisible wall, we can then just go right under the elevator as it's going up and hit the player trigger down at the bottom here, which then ends the level 2 minutes and 20 seconds early and makes us happy speedrunners. And this is also now the transition into, I would say, is probably the most popular section of the game amongst the entire Portal fan base. being the old aperture section. Now, on the speedrun side, there's some love for Chapter 6 and some hate for Chapter 6. However, the next two chapters, Chapter 6 and 7, are going to be the hardest ones in the game. Which is why people have that love-hate relationship with each chapters. But they're all going to have really, really fun tricks, and we're going to try our best to explain most of them that are happening. There is a lot that happens in a short time span with Chapter 6 and 7. But, as I said, we will try our best to explain it all.
Yeah, nearly every map is going to have some sort of a skip in it, except for this first map. This first map is a pure movement map. Just go through it, clever portal shots. And then the second map, Cave Johnson, is normally where we're introduced to the big man, but we're going to be skipping every single line of dialogue he has.
Yeah.
Bird, by the way.
What? Which I have?
Bird.
Oh, true.
Oh no, oh no.
Okay, yeah. And this was that clever portal shot Jaio was talking about, where basically we can just shoot a very long distance to the portal surface down here, and then skip having to hop down that whole chasm. Which, considering, and this is going to sound crazy, but considering that the path of the level is off axis from 90 degrees, the movement through that chasm is actually pretty awkward and pretty difficult to do quickly. I don't know if we've explained that quite yet.
We have not.
But long story short, the long story short of it is that because of the catapults from earlier in the game, they impose a soft speed cap when you are not moving in a 90-degree direction, so that you can't just strafe with a ton of momentum from the catapult to do crazy skips. And speaking of crazy skips, that shot that I just did right there is one of them. As unassuming as that shot seems, I believe it saves about a minute, and the scripted momentum abuse that I just did, followed with a reportal, saves another 20. And that I think that's one of the 3 biggest skips in the game. Right there. Because you're skipping the whole introduction of Cave Johnson, you're skipping the elevator ride up that's in the center of the level, and then you're also skipping actually turning on the blue gel. Fun fact. So, in the speedrun canon, the player does not need blue gel.
Though we do use blue gel in the run.
And then another trick that I just did there is called a seam shot. You may have heard of them, because I believe they became kind of a big topic in Source games for a little bit, because of them being found to be existent in Team Fortress 2 and CSGO, which are the more competitive Valve and Source games. Basically, due to a collision error, we can actually shoot through the gap in the corner of those 2 walls. And you can do this in competitive TF2 and CSGO maps. There's videos that have been mostly done by people that are involved in our community, where they will be in a spawn area, and they will shoot from the spawn area into the hot part of the map, and you could kill somebody. As far as I know, these shots have not been used competitively at all. However, if at some point in some CSGO major, somebody starts shooting through walls, it is not cheat. It is just Valve not coding collision correctly.
Ending in Chapter 6 for me.
Yeah, Chapter 6 does that.
It does.
And then coming up, you're going to see a lot more pronounced version of both a seam shot and view snap. As you're seeing here, my vision is snapping all about, and by snapping to this very specific angle, I can hit a seam shot to then beat the level. And then I'm going to try to... Can I hit this? Where is the cube? Okay, I was in the wrong spot. And then the glitch that I just did there, it's a very small optimization that I think only me and maybe a couple other players do. Using a new IL strat that was found where if you jump into the box and you're looking the other way from the box, you're able to grab the cube from behind you? I don't exactly know how it works. I just follow the principle of it go fast, I do, you know? But it's just a funny little trick for those that are uninitiated to the game. We just kind of grab a cube from behind us, pull it forward, and then complete the map. And then this is also another major skip that is going to be coming up here. After doing a small little abuse with a portal placement helper, which are just things that help get your portals to the right spot, we're going to do a little fling here, which, if I do correctly... I might be too low. I was. However, doing a little fling here, the elevator is active here the whole time, and it actually skips the cutscene where we're getting GLaDOS as a potato, which that cutscene's about a minute. So we just get to skip that massive cutscene as well. And then this one is another major skip that's going to happen. By using another one of the reportals and a clever little portal placement there from a gap in the level. If I can hit it. We can do a reportal off of that wall. And as you can see, we are now at the very end. Why's my music? Sorry, my music got cranked up all the way to max there for some reason. Sorry about that. But basically, we skipped the first test and also the second test in that map, which then just lets us be able to beat the level pretty quickly.
If you're interested in an additional $60, flag down a test associate and let them know. You could walk out of here with 120 weighing down your bindle if you let us take...
I'm doing a bit of a different route because I believe that reportals are not a glitch. Vote in the poll, !donate. I do a bit of a different route because that's just movement that I'm not too comfortable with because of how I control the game. It's a pretty hot topic, a pretty hot discussion, but I b-hop using my middle mouse wheel, or my middle finger on the mouse wheel. It's a relatively hot topic between pointer finger and middle finger. Some really crazy people do ring finger, but we don't talk to them. But yeah, big debate. I do middle finger.
I do pointer.
Hot debate.
Yeah. And then one trick that I just did there that's a bit weird is I put blue gel on the ramp that you're normally supposed to have orange gel on so that you can fling all the way to the end. However, if you put blue gel on it, blue gel on angled platforms are really weird because you can get many jump inputs at once on them, when normally you are only supposed to be able to get one. And because of that, you can just fling straight to the end with the very flashy and speedy fling right to the end. And we're going to do probably the biggest skip where you actually kind of have to do stuff. I did way too many portals, but that's Lemonade Skip. As you can see, very speedy, and it actually flings us past the second and pretty much the whole first half of this chamber. And skips the famous Cave Johnson Lemon Rant, so we apologize if you were looking forward to that. But we skip it. And we do that by doing a super reportal that we did in other chambers, except we actually get stuck in the slant that we're doing some of these portals off of. So we can just gain a ton of velocity and then hit off some of the geometry that is built into the level for design and get up to the end of the level very quickly. And let's see if I can do this one. I'm failing it currently. because I misstepped. But now we're going to do another massive skip, where I'm going to do what's called a stuck launch, where I get stuck in between two pieces of collision. I get stuck in between two pieces of collision, so the game thinks that I'm falling, so it keeps giving me the momentum as if I'm falling. However, I'm actually stuck in one specific place. And then you're gonna hear these words a lot here. We're gonna do another big skip, which involves another one of those super reportals like we did in the previous map conversion intro, except we're going to do it so that we get a lot of vertical velocity instead of horizontal and vertical velocity. And we're just going to go right past the vault door, right past the gel pipes, so that we don't have to wait for that elevator that's going to be going down. And that saves about 40 seconds. There's other strats that are faster than the elevator still, even without the super reportal. But even the super reportal saves 15 over the fastest non-super reportal route.
That's the end of the underground section. We're now heading into Wheatley Aperture, which wow, I golded by 12 seconds.
Oh.
Well, not I golded and was minus 12, so now I'm even with my PB.
Nice.
Cool. So now we're into Wheatley Aperture. Basically, Wheatley took over the facilities. He made them bad. The tests are bad, and the glitches are worse. We're not going to be seeing the big main glitch here in this map. However, we are going to be seeing we're going to be seeing a good like 50-second skip here called cube throw. Basically, you put a cube onto that button. Normally, Wheatley talks for like 50 seconds about how paradoxes are stupid or something. But if you throw it instead, you could just walk through the door. And just skip that whole bit. If you're curious on how to do it, you throw the cube.
Yeah.
Really good. Oh, here's an idea. Since making tests is so difficult,
And I think that's going to be the last, like, major skip, quote-unquote, until probably laser platform. But now we'll have a big trick coming up.
Yep, so the next map after this one introduces what are called excursion funnels. Basically, they're funnels of something, I don't know, science, that give you 0 gravity when you're in them. Valve, bit of a fun fact. This game's not programmed well. Hang on one second.
It's all right. Everything's good. I just invented some more tests.
I just did like a 1 second long dialogue skip. But Valve did not make the game well. It's not good. How your hitbox works. Bit of backstory here. How your hitbox works is when you're standing and when you're crouching. Those are 2 different hitboxes. So in a funnel, if you're in a funnel and you crouch, the game will think that you're in 2 funnels because 2 hitboxes in the funnel. So if you leave the funnel, you still retain all the 0 gravity of being in a funnel, meaning you can fly.
Yeah.
And we're going to be abusing that for this entire chapter and the rest of the game.
Yeah. And as you can see, the glitch does persist through loads like what we mentioned with Betrider earlier. So we get it in the first map that we can get a funnel in, and then we are going to break the next 3 chambers with it.
Don't start yet. You are not going to believe this. I found a sealed off wing. Hundreds of perfectly good test chambers just sitting there, filled with skeletons.
Yeah, another fun fact, that glitch was found day 1 of the game's release.
Yeah.
April 18th, * 2011.
And there we go. Be honest, you can't even tell, can you? Seamless. Oh.
Well, hey, if we have a moment here, I do have a donation I'd like to read off.
Yeah, go ahead.
Here's a $50 donation from TrickSurf, and they simply say, "Yo."
Yo.
Shout out Tricksurf.
But I do see them. Yeah, they're hanging out in chat. They've been mentioning a lot of stuff that you two are mentioning while you're speedrunning. It's really awesome.
Yep, they are. I'm going to get my my facts here wrong. 5th place in the co-op category, in the main co-op category.
I think they're 6th now. I could be wrong.
Top 10 co-op.
Very good co-op runner. I have played AMC with him before, and he is very, very
Disturb you
good.
too much then. It was the sound of books, pages being turned.
7th. Wow, Rusty.
That's just what I was doing. Just reading, books. So nothing more on. Anyway, just finish the last one.
Yeah. So we lose the CFG glitch, which is called crouch fly glitch. We lose it in that map by touching a funnel. If we touch a funnel that is not the funnel that we got the glitch in, then we lose it. We're going to be doing the next couple maps without it. And when we'll be getting it back in another couple maps.
Yeah. And a trick that I just did that Jaio is going to be showing off here pretty shortly is called a grate shot. Basically, on a grate, graded surface like you'll see when he's closer to the surface, basically, those surfaces have a really tiny, really tiny box where you can actually place a portal on them. Which, in our case, since it's right underneath the button that needs us, that lets us spawn the cube into the level, it lets us get through very, very quickly.
You remember last time when we were practicing, I jumped into the elevator thinking that it was whatever.
Yeah.
Like, because I used the top of the elevator to line up in the previous... Yeah, I did it again.
Oh.
Just give me a wave, would you, before you solve this one, alright? I don't want to spoil the ending for when I watch it later.
And then, as you'll see on my screen, we're gonna have CFG again. There we go. So I had to listen to the dialogue quickly. But yeah, so we're gonna have CFG for now the 2nd time in this chapter, and we'll be having it up until the end of this map.
Was self-destructing, already fixed. Programmed in one last tremor for all time's sake. 1 or 2 more tremors in there just for fun. All right, still nothing. Let's keep moving. Sorry about the lift. It's
might be
out of
over.
service because it melted.
Yeah. And then this is another spot where Bet's Rider would normally help. You could actually hit this funnel a bit earlier and then dodge a death trigger, which I did not do there. I think I got to stray further left, yeah. However, that death trigger goes pretty long. However, with Bet's Rider, you don't have to worry about death triggers. You can just skip it.
Oh, you're alive! Great! Yeah, just getting a test ready for...
Oh, what?
Obviously, who else would I
Oh no, come on.
So, let's see here.
Lost all my time save there.
Exit. There is no exit. Not a problem. I'll make an exit for your test.
Oh.
There, ding.
Come on, let me get some.
On you go.
Ah!
After you told me to turn that beam off, I thought I had lost you.
Oh, okay. If I'm gonna lose, unfortunately, a good amount of time here. Just because normally you're supposed to get here quick enough so that you can hit the surface over there and get the funnel over here to start the end dialogue. However, I just had a really hard time getting CFG there for some reason. So, we'll get to sit in this lovely elevator ride for about 20 seconds.
I'm also going to be getting awkward elevator, which is really unfortunate because I was actually on a bit of a pace.
As CFG usually does. CFG is your friend until you need it there.
It oddly enough wasn't CFG, it was me placing the wrong portals and dropping the cube off the cliff.
Ah, that'd do it as well.
That'd do it. Yeah, so anyway, this is what happens when the ending dialogue of the map isn't activated. The elevator just goes all the way to the end, where at the very bottom there's a failsafe that just ends the level. no matter what.
Actually, I might also be on a pacer here, I just realized. Depends how this chapter 9 goes, because my chapter 9 in my PB was not that great.
Surprises. Well,
So,
2 more chambers.
let's see. And then, as you're going to see here, this is another big skip that we're going to be doing. So as you can see here, since we have CFG in this map, we can actually skip the catapult that was on the ground, and we can fly just through these ways here. Now, the catapult is quicker upon getting to this big hallway here, which normally you would have a very, very slow funnel ride to then get to the part where it kills you. However, the fun part about the speedrun here is that we just skip the part where he tries to kill you. Like, this is where he would try to kill you, but we just kind of bonk off this monitor.
My game
And,
all tapped out. Don't know how it did.
Decided I'm not gonna kill you. Okay. If
I
you
thought it
come
crashed for a second. I was gonna be really upset.
And then hopefully I don't get slow fly here. It might be risky. For context, this map scares me because I lost a PV pace to this just about a couple hours ago, but I have fast fly. Yay, okay. So this... We'll see how this goes.
Oh, okay. That's not gonna work.
Okay, yes, it's a trap, but it's the only way through. Let's just do it.
Did something break back there?
Oh, I lost 4.2 seconds.
That would be amazing if it killed you. Hello? Oh, yes, alright, no, just let it break.
Yeah, so pretty much this whole next part of the game, the last map, this map, and part of the next map is actually most of the next map is going to be just us flying around avoiding Wheatley's traps, because Wheatley's traps are really bad against people who can fly.
Yep.
Where all the robots scream at you. Then I'll kill him.
Okay, I'll take that as a no then.
I have another Trick Surf donation here if we have a moment.
Yeah.
There's another $20, and they said, also, shout out to Ozzy, Dexter, Andy, Toby, Nougat, Kirsch, Strudel, and Fluffy. I don't know if I missed any of Fridge's. He has a lot.
No, he got them all. He got them all.
Those are the pets of Tricksurf, me, Fridge, and a couple other friends.
You attach it to him. If we do it a few times, plug me in. Look,
And importantly, they did also put that $20 towards voting if reportals are a glitch, and they had the answer of no. They are not a glitch.
Trickster's letting me down.
Well, welcome.
Is it, what's currently the split then on the reportal vote?
It's definitely leaning as no, it is not a glitch based
Oh,
on that $20. You're unfortunately in the minority right now. You gotta convince me. That's what I'm waiting for.
We're convincing you by changing the rules of no major glitches to reflect it.
For legal reasons, that is indeed a joke. But who knows? Who knows? Maybe if any of my whole one NMG runners out there.
Shoutouts. Shoutouts, no major glitches. Shoutouts, no glitches being allowed. Asterisk, wink emoji, smiley face.
Yeah,
If
true.
you know, you know.
And by the way, this is the final map of the game.
Yeah, this is it.
As me and Jaio will see each other once again. Where's the line?
That was actually an impression of you.
Yeah, so this boss fight starts with like a 50-second cutscene till it goes to Wheatley throwing bombs at us. We're going to be catching those thrown bombs in the air without portals, so they create a bit of a loop, and that'll allow us to attack Wheatley again a bit earlier than what we should normally be allowed to. Save a bit of time. Other than that, this boss fight is surprisingly pretty much normal.
Yeah.
Reactor explosion.
Towards the end of the map, it'll be different. There's not a whole lot you can do. Well, unless you're TAS. You can
Yeah,
do
unless
some,
you're TAS.
you can do some funny stuff when you're a TAS. However, the explanation for what they do is way too long and way too much info for us to properly explain it here. Kurzihow has a great video on his channel. You may have heard of him as the triple laser guy. But he has a video on his channel that gives kind of a rough rundown of it, but it's probably the best rundown on there.
For those curious, the video is called The Greatest Time Save.
Yeah.
Even though it only saves like 40 seconds. It's a very okay time save.
And for another place that you could find a lot of good info on it is watching the past play to GDQ, where Emlug explains it brilliantly, to say the least.
I see.
Yeah.
Substitute core. Are you ready to start? Corrupted core. Are you ready to start?
So the last thing that I want to talk about, the final trick in the run. Over in that room over there, there is a big old button that will start the final cutscene of the game. We are going to shoot what ends the run early. So you have to shoot the moon. Spoiler alert. At the end of the game, you shoot the moon. That's what ends the game in the run. We're going to be trying to shoot that early. To end the run early, save about 16 seconds. The shot's called Early Moon Shot. Take a guess why.
And that's time. As I hit the moon early.
As Fridge hits the moon early. So Fridge has a 103.02 in game time.
Yeah.
And I am currently plus 0.6 with 18 seconds of time saved down entirely on this shot. So
Come on, Jaio! Come on, Jaio!
I could PB.
I already fixed it, and you are not coming back.
Oh no! Change your plans! Hold on to me! Tighter!
GG time.
Is that a PB for you?
Yeah, by 18 seconds.
Let's go!
As was a 104.46.
Today we learned that Jaio just needs to lose a bunch of time in dual lasers
All
to
I
PB.
need to do is lose a bunch of time. Usually, my graph is pretty funny.
Yeah.
I'll send you a screeny.
Or I'll look after the stream.
Oh, thank God, you're
Yeah?
all right.
Oh, yeah.
Being Carolyn taught me a valuable...
I'm also gonna pause the game. Because, unfortunately, the end music is copyrighted. Well, the vanilla music is copyrighted, but the music I have it changed to is also copyrighted, so, you know. Yeah,
So that's
unfortunate.
Portal 2. If you enjoyed the run and want to try it yourself, whether it be single player, which is what we did, ILs, which are slightly different and a lot shorter, or co-op, which is co-op, you could check us out on Discord, discord.gg/p2sr, or if you just want to watch Portal 2 speedruns or whatever, or want to check out the tutorial, we have a YouTube channel for it. Check out Portal 2 Speedrun Hub on YouTube. Yeah, that's about it. Thank you for all the donations. Breaking $600 this run was pretty neat.
We break 700 as well, or are we?
No, not yet.
Gotcha.
They're at 670. That's not my job to talk about that. With
You
that,
can do my job whenever you want. This is fine.
I did not sign up to be host this marathon. I would like to. I did not sign up to be host. All right. With that, then that's all that we have. Unless Fridge wants to add anything else.
No, nothing beyond just saying, if you want to speedrun Portal 2, discord.gg/p2sr. Would love to see you there.
Yeah, that's it. All right. Bye bye.